Hi, I'm Wham Bam. Welcome to Teslacam.
Oh my God.
Ed was driving his 2-week-old Model Y in San Francisco, California, doing about 70 miles per hour on the freeway when this Honda Civic came up behind him. The initial impact caused Ed to spin to the left. Then the vehicles locked together, causing a spin to the right. The Honda then bounced off the center divider and hit Ed again, as we can see in the right camera, causing him to spin back the other way. The front camera shows Ed's perspective, as well as the reason why, if you're going to be in an accident, you want to be driving a Tesla. Notice the minimal body lean and quick recovery, which can be attributed to the low center of gravity, 50-50 weight distribution, and superior stability control response time of an electric drivetrain. Ed says it was the best spin-out scenario he could imagine and that he barely felt the impact, since the Model Y weighs 4,400 pounds, about twice as much as the Civic. Ed got out and asked the Civic driver if he was okay, and he responded by asking Ed if he had changed lanes and hit him, as if the accident had been his fault. It turns out that the driver of the Honda was under the influence, and he ended up being taken away in handcuffs. #HondaBump. Ed's insurance company is trying to determine if his Model Y is totaled. Allan was visiting a friend's house on Christmas Eve in Buckeye, Arizona. Around that time, messages were popping up on neighborhood social apps about criminals stealing and vandalizing cars. A red Dodge Ram missing its tailgate pulled right up to his Tesla with 4 people in it. 2 of them got out, and one of them urinated on the front while waving to his buddy in the construction vest to start slashing the tires. Construction vest guy managed to slash one tire before the car alarm went off. Allan ran out quickly, and by the time he saw them, they were already speeding off. Allan called the police, and they initially started chasing the vandals, but when they made it to the freeway, the officers were told to terminate the pursuit, since the chase had gone out of their jurisdiction. Allan has shared their pictures on social media and has a few promising leads, but he hasn't received any updates from the police yet. The same day, other reports came in when other people in the area came out to their cars to find flat tires. Allan was one of the first to find out about the vandals, thanks to his Tesla notifying him immediately. The offenders seemed to target specific cars, with the Mustang on the same street also having its tires slashed. This all happened on North 310th Avenue in the Tartesso community. Allan is hoping that the Wham Bam community can help him figure out who these guys are. They're suspected to be from the nearby city of Tonopah, Arizona. If you know anything about them or these incidents, contact the Buckeye Police Department or send us an email and we'll forward it to Allan. Before we roll this video, we need to give a warning for people at risk for epilepsy. There are a lot of flashing lights in this one. Willie was driving his Model S in San Antonio, Texas, when he noticed this police cruiser slowing down to take a look at the white Buick on his left. Willie noticed the driver was on his phone, and the police cruiser instantly lit him up for it. This is a good reminder to always keep your eyes on the road and your hands off your phone. This submitter from the UK was driving along on a road with a 50-mile-per-hour speed limit when a Model 3 overtook him on a blind bend, causing him to brake hard. Luckily, he was going well below the speed limit, so he was able to avoid an accident. The driver was given a formal warning after the submitter sent the footage to the police. David was driving home in his Model 3 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when he was sideswiped while driving along in slow-moving traffic. He never thought he would be sideswiped by a driver in the safest vehicle on the road, a Volvo. Police responded to the accident and an insurance claim was filed. The Volvo driver's insurance paid for $2,800 in repairs. While this emitter was driving home over the Pali Highway in Hawaii, it was raining and very windy. Someone's trash bags had flown out of their pickup and were left on the roadway. Suddenly, a large tree on the opposite side of the road broke and fell across the lanes, almost reaching the submitter's lane and landing on his Tesla. Thankfully, only leaves and small branches landed on his windshield, and no damage was discovered after he got home. Only after reviewing the footage did he notice that the cars on the opposite side of the road must have been hit by the tree or had caused a multi-vehicle accident. This submitter was driving his Model Y on the Pennsylvania Turnpike when this event occurred and was recorded with an aftermarket dashcam installed in the Tesla. Although the truck was signaling to merge left, there was no traffic behind the submitter and he didn't want to be slowed down by a truck going uphill, so he didn't slow down to let the truck in front of him. The trucker decided he didn't want to wait either, so he put the squeeze on the submitter, forcing him to slam on his brakes. The submitter says he's considering contacting the Pennsylvania State Police with the video, since merging vehicles don't have the right-of-way. This is our first video from Iceland. Take a look at these scenic routes. At the end of a summer vacation with his family, Addy was driving in northern Iceland, making his way home to Reykjavik. These roads tend to hug the hills and mountains, and there are many places where drivers have very reduced visibility of oncoming traffic. Addy says it's not the best place to pass other cars. Another driver was a bit too impatient and they almost collided head-on. Fortunately, thanks to good reflexes, both Addy and the other driver managed to avoid a collision. Addy adds that he and his family were quite shocked, but his kids learned a valuable lesson about paying attention to the road. 5 days after taking delivery of his Model Y, Joseph was dropping off his buddy at his parents' house. A car was stopped in front of him and he was about to go around it, but he stopped when he realized it was turning. That's when a Honda rear-ended him. Hashtag Honda bump. Joseph pulled over and called the police and waited in his car. He asked the officer if the other driver was okay, and he responded by saying the other driver was upset. Joseph isn't sure if the other driver was upset with him or with himself, because Joseph's friend heard him telling the officer that Joseph had stopped in the middle of the road. After viewing the footage from the Teslacam, the officer said he'd seen everything he needed to see. The other car was a total loss. Although the damage didn't look extensive, it took almost 2 months to fix Joseph's Tesla. The Honda driver's insurance paid for all the repairs and for a rental car. Joseph says he thinks the other driver may have been on his phone. The paramedics and firefighters were amazed at the quality of the footage from the Teslacam and were asking all sorts of questions about the car. The firefighters asked Joseph if there was a way to turn off the car, and he told them he wasn't sure. They were asking in case they needed to use the jaws of life or had to pry a Tesla open. They said they're starting to see an increase of Teslas around and wanted to know more about them. Joseph confesses that he couldn't answer all of their questions as he'd only had his car for 5 days. Sarah spent 3 days in California with her Model 3. She sent us these videos of her trying to survive the infamous California drivers. In this video, we see a Nissan Versa rear-ending a Dodge Challenger when traffic was slowing down on the highway. And here she spotted a Honda driver, this time not bumping into anyone. However, it did run a red light to make this turn. Eric was driving to work in his Model Y on I-90 near North Bend in Washington when out of the woods came 2 elk and a close call. Max was waiting for a green light in Tyrol, Austria, when he noticed a blue light in his rearview mirror. It turned out to be a police chase in progress. Keith was driving his Model 3 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when a car in the neighboring lane of I-35 hit some sand barrels. From Keith's point of view, there was a large cloud of sand that shot across his lane. After getting out of his car, he learned the driver was okay. He started to clean up some of the debris after he noticed it was blocking traffic. After double-checking that everyone was safe, Keith left so traffic could start moving again. This submitter was driving his Model Y in Long Island, New York, when he came across this ATV in the first snow of the season. We can't wait for the Tesla Cyberquad videos. Charles was driving his Model 3 in Denver, Colorado, when the person in front of him nearly got hit by this individual coming off the E470 toll road. He was on his way to look at a Honda Pilot for his daughter. That makes us worried. Charles, you need to rethink this. This near miss might have been a #HondaBump sign. Roger was waiting at a traffic light in his Model 3 in Huntington Beach, California. Once the light turned green, he hit the accelerator and this happened. He didn't notice the Mercedes-Benz running the red light. His foot was on the accelerator, but the car detected the imminent collision and stopped automatically. Surprisingly, there was a police cruiser right next to Roger, but evidently he didn't feel the need to give the Mercedes driver a ticket. This submitter was driving his Model Y in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. When he'd stopped for a red light, it looks like Ken Block pulled up behind him in an Infiniti. Joking aside, the real Ken Block would have probably made a donut around the Tesla. Luckily, this minor slide turned out okay. Tyler was in a drive-thru when he noticed this woman park her car, quickly get out, and run inside. Tyler kept looking at her car because she had parked over the line, which annoyed him. Suddenly, he noticed it starting to roll backwards with nobody in it. Seeing a car driving with nobody inside is something Tyler has become used to with Summon, but this time it wasn't a Tesla. He got out of his car and tried to get the woman's attention, but she was already inside the restaurant. After moving his car out of the way, Tyler got out and stopped her runaway car. He then ran inside to tell her that her car was sitting in the middle of the street. At last, she wrangled the wild car. Nicely done, Tyler. Hey guys, if you can see that red subscribe button, that means you're not subscribed to the Wham Bam channel yet. It would mean the world to us if you would do that, so please hit that subscribe button. Thanks.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Cybertruck? My friends all drive diesel, I must make amends.